All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at exactly how to take raw, honestly kind of ugly data and transform it into a pristine mathematical asset. Now, if you've been wrangling data types and you're just itching to fire up those complex algorithms, hold your horses. We've got a really crucial pit stop to make first. Because here's the golden rule of data science, right? In the real world, data is rarely handed to you on a silver platter. It's messy, it's incomplete, it's riddled with typos. You can't just skip from collecting your data straight into analyzing it. Data preparation is that absolutely vital middle step. You have to scrub it, format it, and basically whip it into shape. Think of it exactly like prepping your ingredients before you cook a massive meal. You wouldn't just throw unpeeled onions into a pan, would you?
So, we're going to treat this process like a bit of an obstacle course today. We'll tackle fixing missing data, translating text to numbers, taming those wild outliers and scales, and then wrap it all up with a foolproof data prep checklist that you can use on literally every future project.
All right, obstacle number 1, fixing missing data. Because, let's face it, those gaps are inevitable. Whether a survey respondent just decided to skip a question or maybe a sensor totally glitched out, you are going to have missing values to deal with.
And how we fix those gaps? Well, that totally depends on the data type itself. There is no one-size-fits-all approach here. If you're dealing with qualitative data, categories and descriptions, we usually just fill those missing slots with the mode, basically the most common category in your dataset. Or if that feels a bit off, we safely label them as a brand new category called unknown. But if we're looking at quantitative data, actual numbers, we get mathematical. We usually plug those holes with the mean, which is your average, or the median, the exact middle value of your set.
Let's make this super concrete. Imagine we're analyzing real estate data, and a specific house is missing its number of bedrooms value. Now, because bedrooms are discrete quantitative data, we obviously can't fill it with a category like unknown, right? And it definitely wouldn't make sense to leave it completely blank if we want our models to actually run. So, we might simply look at the data set, find the median value, and use that. If the median is 3, boom, we plug in a 3, and that gap is safely patched. Moving right along to obstacle 2, translating text to numbers, or encoding categorical data. Because here is the fundamental truth. Computers and statistical models absolutely love numbers, but they fundamentally hate text. So, if you've got a data column filled with words like Apple, Samsung, or Google, you cannot just feed that into a mathematical model. You have to translate it using a process called encoding. The first method is label encoding, where we each category its own unique number. Apple gets a 1, Samsung gets a 2, Google gets a 3. The computer sees numbers, and everybody's happy. But, and this is a huge but, you've got to be incredibly careful here. There's a major hidden danger to label encoding. You really only want to use this method if your categories have a natural built-in order, like small being 1, medium being 2, and large being 3. If you use it for unordered categories, like our smartphone brands, the computer might look at the data and hilariously assume Samsung is mathematically twice as good as Apple. Why? Just because it's assigned number 2 is strictly greater than 1. It literally tries to do math on your arbitrary labels.
To entirely dodge that headache with unordered categories, we use a much safer technique called one-hot encoding. Instead of giving out escalating numbers, this method splits your single category column into completely separate yes/no columns, represented by just ones and zeros. So you make a new column called is_Apple. If the phone is an Apple, it gets a 1 for yes. If it's a Samsung, it gets a 0 in the Apple column, but a 1 in a brand new is_Samsung column. This is hands down the safest way to prep unordered categorical data because it totally stops the computer from trying to do accidental math.
Okay, on to obstacle 3, taming outliers and scales to prepare our quantitative data. So far, we've fixed missing values, we've encoded text, but numerical data brings its own special kind of chaos.
And the biggest headache of all is the outlier. By definition, an outlier is an extreme value that sits way outside the rest of your data. When you're in the prep phase, you have to be eagle-eyed for these, because if you don't catch them, they will absolutely skew your averages and completely wreck your analysis.
Just picture this for a second. You're analyzing salaries at a company. Most folks are pulling in somewhere between $40,000 and $90,000 a year. But suddenly, bam! You see a single entry for $25 million. That right there is a massive outlier. Now, is it the CEO's actual compensation package, or did someone in HR just have a heavy finger and type way too many zeros by accident? So what do you actually do when you spot one of those? Well, you basically have 3 choices in your data prep toolkit. Number 1, you can cap it, essentially setting a maximum limit so it doesn't drag your averages to the moon. Number 2, you can just remove it entirely, but generally only if you've confirmed it's a straight-up typo. Or number 3, you keep it. You leave it in the dataset because it's a legitimate, even if rare, data point that actually reflects reality.
Now, the other major numerical headache we have to fix is scale. Imagine trying to compare 2 totally different variables in a model. Say, a person's age, ranging from 0 to 100, and their annual income, ranging from $10,000 to $1 million. Since algorithms only look at the raw numbers, those giant income figures will completely bulldoze the tiny age numbers. The model is going to unfairly prioritize income simply because the digits are physically larger.
To fix that mismatch, we use something called feature scaling. Sometimes you'll hear it called normalization or standardization. Basically, we mathematically scale the data so both variables are playing on the exact same field. Usually, we run a formula that squishes all the data points down so every single value falls cleanly between 0 and 1. Or we center them all around an average of exactly 0. This makes sure the computer treats both variables with the respect they deserve.
And that brings us to the final step, the data prep checklist. We made it through the obstacle course, guys. Let's lock in these new superpowers with a quick summary you can take with you. Before you even think about hitting run on a statistical model, you always need to stop and ask yourself these 4 crucial questions. First, do I have missing values, and did I patch them with the mode, mean, or median? Second, are my text categories actually converted into numbers the computer can read? Third, are there crazy outliers messing up my averages? And finally, are my numerical columns sitting on a similar leveled scale? If you can check all 4 of those boxes, my friend, your data is incredibly clean.
So here is the big question I want to leave you with today. Now that your data is pristine, perfectly encoded, and totally ready for action, where do we go next? Do we explore how to visually represent all this with some beautiful charts and graphs to find hidden patterns? Or are we diving straight into the deep math to calculate things like averages and variance? Think about which path you want to take next on your data journey.